Welcome to chapters 30 through 32. So some of these chapters or parts of these chapters may have been really confusing. I'm going to try and cut right to the chase. Chapter 30, Pip is still in Kent, waking up in the Blue Boar after his visit with Miss Havisham and Estella. And before he leaves, he tells Jaggers that he does not approve of Orlick being the gatekeeper for Miss Havisham. And so Jaggers says, well, it's time we pay our little friend off. What he means is that he's going to fire Orlick. So Orlick's going to get fired, and Orlick is not going to like that. Stay tuned to that. Next, when Pip is navigating the streets of Kent to return to London by coach, he's trying to avoid Pumblechook, and he instead encounters Trabb's boy. And on 3 different occasions, Trabb's boy makes fun of Pip using a blue bag. What he really is doing, I think, is manifesting Pip's self-consciousness about how he's changed. He goes, don't know you, don't know you, don't know you, acting like how Pip acts to his former friends in Kent, Joe and Biddy. So I'm not really sure this scene literally happens the way Pip tells us. Remember, Pip is a first-person narrator, so there's likely to be unreliability there, but he is perceiving Trabb's boy to mock him in a way that reflects how Pip has negatively changed. So that's what's going on there. And then when Pip returns to London, he has a conversation with Herbert. Turns out Herbert has a secret engagement to a girl named Clara Barley. And it's secret because his mom, Belinda, you may remember, has nonsensical notions that she is royalty. And so he believes that Clara's upbringing is not sufficient for Belinda Pocket to approve. So anyway, a secret romance for Herbert. And of course, Herbert continues to warn Pip against loving Estella. Chapter 31 is a momentary comic relief, and you may have been really confused there, but when Joe visited Pip in chapter 27, he told him about how Wopsle has quit the church and is now pursuing life as an actor. Think about American Idol, how that TV show featured so many people who could not sing, this pursuit of a dream where they were just terrible. That's Wopsle. He is the worst actor, but he's going for it. You know, it's what he loves. And so when it says on our arrival in Denmark at the beginning of chapter 31, they didn't actually go to Denmark. The setting of Hamlet is Denmark. Hamlet is the Prince of Denmark in the Shakespeare play. So this whole scene just shows how terrible of an actor Hamlet is, how this play is a complete joke, how they're still using scripts, how even if a character is dead on the stage, he starts coughing because he can't control himself, how the audience is making fun of Wopsle when he says to be, and then the rest of the audience says not to be, in this participation that would not have happened in this very serious tragedy. So that's what's going on there. And Wopsle is under the stage name of Waldengarver. So when you see the name Waldengarver, that actually means Wopsle. Go ahead and say hi, Timothy.
Hi.
So in chapter 32, it begins with a letter from Estella, and I want you to compare her letter to the letter Pip received from Biddy in chapter 27. Estella and Biddy, as we've talked about, are foils of one another, and we see this exemplified in their writing, where Biddy was extremely generous and kind in her letter. Estella is curt and short and brusque. She doesn't even say, "Dear Pip," and she just says, we're going to meet in London, and it is settled that you should meet me, and I write in obedience to Miss Havisham. So also it shows us how Estella, in a lot of ways, is a prisoner of Miss Havisham. That theme of imprisonment running throughout. She doesn't have control over her own life. She just does what Miss Havisham tells her to do. So Estella's on the way, and at the end of the chapter, Pip is really nervous to meet her in London, just the 2 of them, so stay tuned. But first he bumps into Wemmick, and we find out that Aged Parent is turning 82, and Wemmick wants to shoot the stinger off 82 times, as long as it's not too annoying for his neighbors. But then Wemmick quickly goes back and says, that's home, Wemmick. Let's talk about work here. And Pip follows Wemmick into Newgate Prison. So again, that theme of imprisonment. Here, Wemmick is characterized as a metaphorical gardener. The way he weaves in and out of the prisoners, whom Dickens refers to as plants, it shows how caring Wemmick is and dutiful. He refers to Jaggers as the principal and Wemmick as the subordinate. And so the prisoners will tell Wemmick things that they don't feel or cannot communicate to Jaggers. We also get a sense of Dickens' criticism of the judicial system in this chapter. When Pip asks, did your client commit the robbery on page 275? Wemmick says, bless your soul and body, no, but he is accused of it. So might you or I be. Either of us might be accused of it. And so in this scene, it seems you are guilty before proven innocent. And that's the opposite of how it should be. And that's what Dickens is criticizing about. Now, he goes in and out of the prisoners, as I said, and this is where we find out that Wemmick gets his portable property. As soon as somebody dies, they will leave their things, trinkets, whatever, to Wemmick. And so that's how Wemmick gets his portable property, is from these dead plants, as Dickens phrases it. But the metaphor goes even deeper. Remember, Pip's name means a small seed. And so Wemmick, through this experience, is helping Pip grow too. As Pip observes Wemmick's work, and as Pip spends time with Wemmick, he himself is growing into a better version. So that's good, because this is Pip's sin stage. He needs a good influence in his life, and Wemmick seems to provide that. At the very end of the chapter on page 280, this is where he sees Estella coming, and he feels dirty and grimy from the filth of the prison. And as he sees her, he thinks, and I quote, I thought with absolute abhorrence, hatred, of the contrast between the jail and her. So he feels contaminated, and remember, Estella is our star, out of reach, beautiful. And then Pip just feels so dirty from the jail. And it's interesting how he makes that comparison, Estella to the jail. And then at the end, what was that nameless shadow, which again in that one instant had passed? Lately, every time he sees Estella, he gets a sense of deja vu. What is that? All right, we'll find out. Read chapters 33 through 35 for our next installment.